to another episode of 10 Talk, where our conversations are on 10 and our personalities are always on 100. Uh, so today we will be reviewing season 2, episode 10 of Married at First Sight. I think I got that right.
It's season 10, not 2. Like, can you get
Oh,
your
season
like?
2.
I thought it was season 11.
Oh yeah, it's season 11.
Thinking about 2K.
My
See,
bad. Season 11, episode 10. I knew the episode. That's all that matters. It's the new season. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I feel like we should start with Woody and Amani. They are like the poster child for this show. If there was a standard of where you should be at on Married at First Sight by this time in week 4, they are it. If you're not on their level, you're too slow. Speed up. Also took the liberty of giving every couple a nickname. So before we go through and start the show, I'm gonna go over the nicknames I given the couples. So Woody and Amani, they are the couple that does not sleep together because Woody likes to sleep at night and get up early in the morning. Amani likes to stay up all night and sleep through the day. So although they may sleep in the same bed, they don't sleep together, if you know what I mean. All right. Then we got Christina and Henry. They are called the 0% chance couple. I didn't come up with that. Henry said himself, 0% chance. We'll get into that later. All right. Can I get an amen and a hallelujah?
Amen.
Then we got Bennett and Amelia. They are called the Troy chart couple. Then, they're also called the Bennett is perfect couple. I'll explain that one later. Then we got Brett and Olivia. They are the cat people. Because there's really nothing else good I can say about them. And I didn't want to be too rude because I kind of like Brett. Then we got Karen and Miles. I'm going to just call them the 90-day rule couple. All right. Let's jump into it. So we got Woody and Amani. My first thing is I want to know, how does everybody feel about Woody just not being an evening person? He's not much of a night owl, I guess.
it's because boy wakes up at 6 a.m. every day. That's the reason. Like, he be on 10. He be on 10 in the morning because he go to bed early and then wake up at 6 a.m. That's what it is. That's why he got so much energy, is because he gets so much sleep.
Woody is Tisha.
I see it. One thing about Woody and Amani, I feel like with them, it's so hard to analyze them as a couple more than we already have. It's like we already know what track they're on. Nobody expects them to fail. They're just a poster child. And it's just like, at this point, it's like, all right, cool. Like, we understand. They're, great together.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But what y'all think about whipping kids? Because they have
I
their
was
little...
just pulling that up. I was gonna say, but they did have one little disagreement. Their differences on child rearing, or So I'm gonna go through and start with our only parent that is in the conversation right now. How do you feel about child correction?
I don't beat my kids, and when I do say I'm gonna beat y'all, they think I'm playing, so they don't take me seriously anyway. But I feel like there are other ways to administer punishments, and I think that a lot of parents lower the beating because they don't know how to properly communicate, or they also don't know how to properly parent to the point where you don't have to beat your children. And I also think sometimes it's a power trip, and I think a lot of parents take their frustrations out on their kids because they don't know how to properly articulate or properly correct their kids in a manner that doesn't involve hitting someone. So why are you hitting a child that is way smaller than you? And basically, I feel like it's an abuse of power structure.
Okay, now that we have Sideways Lacey here, there we go. I would like to ask for her opinion because, as we all know, she is the secret mother of the group.
Whatever. I don't have any kids. I just wanted to say that I don't think that they really had a disagreement. I think it was actually a very productive and mature conversation because Amani kind of just stood her ground and said, we're not going to hit our kids, and this is why. And she compared Woody's occupation to him coaching and how he disciplines his students in the, when he's coaching and how it's not necessary to hit them. And he kind of at the end of the conversation was like, well, my wife is right. She made a good point, so we don't need to hit our kids. And I feel like because Amani's standing her ground, then they'll be fine.
I feel like Woody was giving her like facial expressions saying like, nah, I'm still gonna beat them kids. But we're gonna go over to
This boy, not with Amani there, he's not. Amani is not gonna let that man do nothing.
we're gonna go over to Shaddai, who has had a few instances with belts. We're gonna ask him what he thinks about child correction.
So back in the day, I was I guess a problem child, some would say, and I was kind of upset because I got a beating for doing something, and I feel like Shamar did the same thing that was equally as bad, and then our parents were just like, "Oh, I'm disappointing you," and then that was it. But I got like 3 beatings for like doing basically the same thing. So like, I don't know. So I'm upset about that. But I guess maybe if you got bad kids, it might have to go to that level. Like if your kid's about to go and beyond scared straight or something, you might have to beat them before they can go to that level. But that's all I gotta say.
I would like to add to that because I remember a time when me and Ashday were fighting, and then Mom said she was gonna beat us both, but then she beat me and did nothing to us. I was like, wow, I'm literally a month older than her. It's not that like I don't see. Come on, I was upset. Also, I didn't get that many whoopings when I was a kid because I'm a good child.
But I feel like what you said about scared straight, people get to scared straight far after someone has already disciplined them. Like there's so many things that happen before a kid gets to that level, and it's like you got to be able to parent before it gets to that place, before it gets that bad, and then not resort to violence once it's already extreme.
Yeah, I think it's necessary.
All right. But so personally,
my kids
I
getting beat.
believe
Oh well.
that when it comes,
I'm gonna take your kids. I'm too young for that. But
Can I ask why you feel it's necessary to beat children?
Nope.
well, okay then.
I just want to go on record to say Samuel is the worst. Samuel's the worst.
You pledge. Discipline's a part of life. That's my way of discipline. Oh well.
I feel as though if you're going to make a point, you got to be able to defend your points.
I feel like I don't have to do anything except for die, because Michael Jackson didn't even stay black, so it's okay.
Oh,
I ain't gotta do that. All I gotta do is die. Anything else is my choice and my decision.
all right. Well, personally, my personal thoughts on discipline is that different children require different types of discipline. I don't think that all children need to be beat, but some of them kids need to be beat. I feel like you can approach.
I could agree that they might require different levels of discipline, but I still never think that it needs to escalate to beating your children. Like you
some of these
discipline
kids
them in different ways, but I feel like the way they're raised is the reason you think that they need to be beat. is because they were raised that way. I don't think that it's like a child pops out of the womb just needing to be beat because they're just a bad kid. Like, I don't.
Terrible
Some kids
parents are
don't
the
do
reason.
well.
Go ahead.
Some kids don't do well to you talking to them, and it doesn't work. So you have to find other ways to discipline those kids.
There are
Not
other ways
necessarily,
besides talking to them.
but
Negative
also,
and positive reinforcement don't always have to be verbal.
and also, a lot of times there are misdiagnoses. It could be something going on with that child. You, instead of talking to that child, I will give you an example. So, because I have an attitude problem, sometimes it's hard for me to verbalize my frustrations in a productive manner. However, we expect children to, when they're upset, to be able to, what's wrong with you? Tell me what's wrong with you. Like, why you keep crying? Why you crying for nothing? I'll give you something to cry about, when they don't always have the tools or the vocabulary to express what's wrong with them. So my kids can actually tell me, I don't want to talk to you right now because I'm upset and I don't want to be disrespectful. So we came up with a way that I feel like they can have their own time to gather their thoughts so that they can articulate the problem that they're having. I think a lot of times we run out of patience, we tired, we stressed, we take out our, sometimes we see in the kids things we don't like about ourselves and end up taking it out on the child, because a lot of things kids do, we do, and we want people to give us grace, but then you, because you bigger than that child, you think somehow you have the right to lay a hand on a child. That's just, to me, just weak.
Well, if I gotta pick up my kids from Walmart for shoplifting, I'm beating them kids. We can move on to the next topic, because it's obvious that we all have different opinions on this. My kids are gonna get beat.
My
Not
thing
all of them.
is, wait, I hear my brother. I want to say something. I want to say something based on what you just said. I
Go
think
ahead.
that it's important that we as people, not just black people, not just a family, but it's important that we as people make this clear distinction between getting beat and getting disciplined. Because with the way you're talking about, you're making it sound like beating somebody is the only way, or is the best way, or is the most conducive way to discipline someone. And I don't agree with that. I think that if you
No,
can't
because you weren't
discipline your
here when
child
I said.
without physically harming them, then that's on you. You need to learn to be a better communicator. You need to learn to be a better leader, a better father, a better whatever. Because you are the adult in the situation. Children are children. They're going to do childish things. They're going to make childish mistakes. They're going to have shortcomings. And you expecting more out of a child than you really expect out of yourself, I think, is a problem.
Period, Sharif. And I just want to say,
You were not here. Sharif was not here when I said that different children require different types of discipline. I
yeah,
did
but
not say
what
that
his
beating them
point
was.
is, hold up, his
No, but he
point is,
said that I was making it seem as beating them was the only option.
but he's saying that you can be disciplined without beating. Also, I feel like we need to make a distinction between like the word beating is just so, you know, like the discipline versus beating. You can discipline by taking things away. You can discipline by making them not get things they like. There's way more different ways of discipline that are not physical. But I just wanted to say, as the resident counselor for domestic abuse survivors, if grown women and grown men have psychological trauma from a partner laying their hands on them, just imagine what happens when a child, a little bitty kid, is getting beat on by a grown man, grown woman. I'm just saying. I know you might
It's
not
a
change your
power thing.
mind. I know you might change your mind. I know this might not be a conversation that is going to make you think any differently. But this experience that I'm going through, because I was a proud proponent of beating kids. Okay, let's be
Yeah, I know.
real. Okay, because I beat y'all, but I don't think it's okay. I have changed my views.
So what if everything else doesn't work? Then what do? You get the kids to somebody else and say, "Here, you discipline my kids. You figure out what works."
Go to a family counselor, do something, because like you do not need to beat your kid. I don't see the reason.
You paying for it?
Agree. I agree with Leilani. If you and your limited knowledge cannot figure out the problem, there are still several avenues you can take. You can go
All right,
read
I'm
some
bringing my
self-help
kids to
books.
Leilani, and she can pay for family therapy because I'm not paying for it.
If your kid doesn't feel comfortable talking to you about issues that they're experiencing, then that's a parental issue. That means you've been
My thing is not my
steering
kid
and
not
not
feeling comfortable.
respect.
What I'm saying
That
is,
might
if
not
I
be a
have to pick
parental
up my
issue. I don't
kid
talk
from
to
the
anybody about
store for
anything. That has
shoplifting,
nothing to do with anything. I'm just private.
if I have to
Can
pick
I
up my
please
kid from the
finish?
store for shoplifting, how does that have anything to do with them not feeling comfortable talking to me?
If they're scared of you because you hit them.
Can I please finish?
I said if I have to pick up my kids for shoplifting, how does that have anything to do with them not feeling comfortable talking to me?
Because
You
if your
don't know
kids
why?
are stealing and you're taking care of them, they have everything that they need financially, and they're still going out shoplifting, they're acting out for some reason, and they don't feel comfortable talking to you about it. And then when you pick them up and beat them, all you're doing is reinforcing that they don't feel comfortable with you. And it's probably because you beat them before when they was 2, 3, 4, 5, and now they 12 at Target stealing Ray-Bans.
Or maybe because their friends do it and they just was doing it to do it. So I'm gonna teach you not to do that no more. I don't care who your friends is. Don't be doing stuff.
And so why can't you communicate that like you just did?
You're not my kids, and I beat y'all. So my stance stays. I don't care.
Okay, but Sharif, I'll let you chew for a little bit.
Okay, I was going as I was saying. There are definitely other avenues that don't involve that aren't even cost effective that you can employ. Why not go get you some parenting books from the library? Why not look up videos on YouTube of ways you can bond with your child? Try to figure out what they're interested in. Use that to motivate them. I feel like right now a lot of us, and I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm not trying to speak for none of y'all. This may not be y'all's experience, but this is what I have noticed. I think that in a general way, a lot of us were raised on survival and not love. Not to say, and that's not to say that our parents don't love us. That's not to say that our grandparents, our families, and the community we have. That's not to say that our community doesn't love us. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that when you're in a situation where your life is full of hardship from an early age, from a very early state, where you're not used to enjoying just the very easy breezy pleasantries of life, I think it gives you this more quote unquote hard body mentality. And I think with in regard to this conversation, whereas where you can go get parenting books, or you can go try to find ways to engage with your children outside of the discipline, because sometimes you got to just let your kids know that they can just work it through their emotions, work through how they feel. But again, I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor of any kind, but from a clinical standpoint, as someone who has studied psychology, and as someone who is currently in therapy, from a more clinical perspective, it is just a generalized fact that that's a way of passing down trauma to your children by getting physical with them. There are definitely ways you can handle incorrigible or toxic behaviors in a way that isn't violent.
All right. So getting back to our next couple, Christina and Henry. So I noticed that when they first showed them on the screen and they're folding laundry, did anybody else think that they would just seem more comfortable around each other, or is that just me? What cave are you in? Let us know.
I mean, are they getting more comfortable? Yes. Are they comfortable? No.
Henry don't like her. What's the next couple?
Because
Because
there's
Henry,
0% chance that they're going to stay together. And Henry already said he don't like her to her face 3 times.
and he said in the episode that if her attitude problem didn't change, there was a 0% chance that it could work. And her attitude problem is not going to change because she just got an attitude.
I'm sorry, can we talk about that conversation though? Because I was irritated because Christina was getting mad at Henry for talking to Amani when he told her this. He was like, why didn't you tell me these things? He did. He told you straight up to your face.
And as y'all know who was watching it with me when we were watching it on Wednesday, I got up, I started shouting because I was just so frustrated. I was really looking at the team like, have we been on the same show? Have we been watching the same thing, Christina? This man done told you. And then even while he's in the middle of telling her again, she's like, well, I just wish you would tell me these things. You don't talk to me about this. He's literally right now trying to tell you.
She literally said,
clicking.
She literally said, I thought things were getting better when 5 seconds ago he just said that things were getting better. Yo, Christina. Like, she really
that woman is determined.
Threw him in it.
That woman is determined just to be annoying and a pain in Henry's behind. And I'm over it. And I hate watching them.
I feel like they put on a very good front this episode of making it seem like they was going to try and do better. But nobody's buying it. I don't even think Henry's buying it. But Amani, you did have something to say, so go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, you know how people say like he dug a hole? No, she dug the hole and she threw him in the hole. She was not having. She really is creating problems for what? For what?
She out here talking about if Henry doesn't want to be the a-hole in the relationship and look bad on camera, then she will be happy to do it. And we all sitting back watching the show like, we know.
He said, right, I know. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something. He was like, right, I know. Like, I
wanted to say what's new.
I was definitely sitting there like, yeah, girl, what you been doing? Is Christina just not on the same show that we're on? I still have the wrong. Is this actually Love After Lockup?
What?
And then
I feel like getting married to Christina sounds like prison. So you know what? It's Love After Lockup.
He don't like her. Next. They boring. They dull. Next. Can we next?
All right, moving on to the cat people. Brett and Olivia. So I'm gonna say something. Please do not take this in the wrong way. But Brett reminds me a lot of Sharif. And the fact that Brett is very technical and meticulous. And Brett has to make sure that everything is to a T and it is done correctly in the way that he sees is correct. And if it is not done in that manner, it is incorrect. And does anybody else kind of see a similarities? Or do you think that Brett reminds you of a different symbol?
I would like to comment on this. Before everybody else comments on that, I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm not going to act like that's not me. That is in fact me. That is in fact me. But see, there's a reason. I'm not like that with everything that happened. Well, I used to be. Now that I'm older, I'm only like that when people ask me to do things specifically. If you want me to like plan something and then get mad that like I'm mad that it ain't how I planned it, don't ask me to plan it. I can go along with the plan just fine. Don't ask for my input and get mad when I put it in.
All right,
the makeup artist. Cat. You are meticulous with everything. Cat.
I agree. I feel like all of us, but most of the guys, to be honest. No, I feel like the guys are just they're very much. I have never been wrong. I will never be wrong. How can I be wrong? But the girls are like, I'm right because I'm right, and these are the guys.
No, Lacey is definitely that way.
I frequently will say when I'm wrong.
And Lorraine is definitely that way. Lorraine is not gonna take any mess from nobody.
That's true. That is true, Lorraine.
She's not here.
You're right.
When I'm wrong, as I've gotten older, I can admit when I'm wrong, and I apologize as well. And it usually takes me a couple of hours and not a couple of days. So give me some credit.
I feel like a lot of
I
people
would
don't
like to bring up something
think at all. They
Mom
just
said.
move on.
I would like to quickly bring up something Mom said about me specifically. Like usually, you know what? I don't like to brag about myself, but I'm gonna brag about myself real quick. Mom said that I am very good at making amends. Mom says that like even though like I have my temper, I like try to fight people. I cuss you out a little bit. I'm very good at making amends. I'll be
So you good at blowing the bridge up and then rebuilding a new one. That's what you do.
Like
We just blow up
bipolar.
bridges and
I
build
feel like
more
if I
bridges.
rebuild the entire bridge after I blew it up, then that's accountability. You can't
Oh
get mad
my
at me
god.
that I fixed what I blew up.
Oh my
You'll be mad that I
gosh.
blew it up in the first place, but if I fixed it, it's fixed.
Accountability. That's what we're calling this. Accountability.
Wait, can we talk about something surprising? Brett has extracurricular activities. The
Oh
boy
my
with
god.
a rock climbing.
No, I wanted to say something about that because when they were doing that, Olivia was like, "Oh, it's so nice that Brett can be supportive and encouraging when it counts. Rock climbing is when it counts. That counts."
No. See, the funniest part was when Brett gets off of the rock and he says, well, you don't have to worry about me having kids. And Olivia looks at him and says, "That's a good thing." That right there tells me that
This
Taylor
girl
loves
has
himself
already
before he
said
does.
she already said, "I don't even know if I really want kids. Like, I got my cat. I'm
She's
good."
like, "I don't know if I want kids, but with him, I definitely know I don't want them." Anybody else have something to say about that, or can we move on?
I would
I
just
have
like to
something to
say
say because I
that
hate Brett. So let me get on my Brett hate train real quick. Then y'all can
wait.
choo along to the
Come on.
next subject if y'all want to. Because Brett is ugly. Brett not smart. Brett talked through his teeth like this, and his teeth got some sort of film. He always want to talk about Olivia teeth, talking about she don't floss, but your teeth look like yesterday and the day before and the day before. And not only that, I think what happened was he built himself up as this smart man, got to trivia, couldn't figure out the answer, got an attitude with everybody. Like, you don't have to participate, but you can at least
He
be
was
decent
so
and have
irritated.
fun.
He shut down after the first question.
I was
He
just
don't.
gonna say that when Brett was being supportive, encouraging of Olivia, it made my heart warm. And then I thought, wait, why are you being warm and encouraging now when she's climbing a wall? And when she talks about anything that she likes to do, it's demeaning. And then I started to think more
He's
about just
trying to
how
get that life
condescending
insurance policy.
that Brett is, and I realized that I no longer want to defend Brett, and I'm going to join the team I hate Brett team.
Yes!
I'm
We
very
did
upset.
it!
I hate it here. I wanted to believe he was nicer than what he was, but he's just a condescending, demeaning a-hole, and it's not going to
I've
change.
realized that Brett is uninterested in anything that he does not plan. In rock climbing, Brett was like, Woody in the morning. He was on 10, okay? He was having him a good little time. And as soon as he got to something that wasn't his idea, that's not trivia.
He really said that's not even trivia.
You know
That's
what?
not trivia.
I was this close with this episode to joining the I Hate Brett team. And I'm going to tell you guys what swayed my opinion to keep me on Team Brett. It was a split second thought that made me realize if I join Team Brett, that means I'm joining Lacey and Sabrina, and I can't do that. I just can't do it.
So
it's
again, your
because you
hate
don't like
for
black women.
black women overrides your conscious decision-making skills.
He decided
Oh
to
my
side. Lacey, he decided that it's better to side with a mediocre white man than black women. That's how much he hates black women.
Shamar, you're building the case against yourself at this point.
No,
I really did all this to not. And plus, even like, I get like, they're your sisters. You really going all out of the way to not side with your sister?
I'm going to explain
your
that right
family?
now.
Your
Because
blood?
no. Because when you let them two be right, they will rub it in your face forever. And I'm not doing that. No. You see how they just treated Sam when he joined Team Brett?
You let that too?
No.
You like that?
Yo,
You see how they treated Samuel when he joined the Brett hate team? No, they're not treating me like that. I don't have a problem with black women. I have a problem with Lacey Rochelle and Sabrina Lynn.
You know what?
wow, governments, hold up.
We welcome Sam with open arms. We are a loving team of bread haters.
That's not loving. That's hate.
There you go, Stephon. Say that again.
Oh my god.
That's not loving. That's hate.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, but to keep it on the real,
It is loving because we love to hate Brett.
I do not like Brett. I do not think that Brett is a good guy. And once upon a time I did. I'm not going as far as to say that I hate Brett just because I can't cross that line onto Team Lacey and Sabrina. Next. Can we move on to Bennett and Amelia?
I thought we were still going to talk about
Always.
trivia.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
sorry, I forgot. Streep had more comments on trivia. Go ahead, Streep. What do you have to say about trivia?
I just want to say real quick, hey, that's how trivia works, Brett. They ask you questions, you figure them out as a group, and you give them your answers. That's what trivia is, Brett. Just because you don't know the answers don't mean they ain't playing trivia right.
He don't know what trivia is. He don't know what therapy is. This boy does not know. Olivia think he's so smart, but
I
don't know.
Brett is just too simple. He was looking for a quick question answer, not a.
What's the capital of no?
When he heard trivia, he saw Jeopardy. He was like, yes, I'm about to kill him with this.
But then they said, okay, when this meets this, what do you get? Betty Whitehouse? That's not trivia.
Betty, what?
Brett is a different breed. But moving on to the most perfect couple for each other, Team Chore Chart, also known as Bennett is Perfect. We have, do we think household chores are going to prove to be a real problem?
Amelia really said, I'm the breadwinner. You're the house husband.
He wears a dress to bed.
Oh my god, no.
It's
a nightgown.
Put some respect on the nightgown.
A gown, a dress, I don't see the difference.
But anyway, see, now that also was a funny moment just to watch them talk about chores and whatnot. Cause it's like, listen, Bennett, she ain't got no problems with you. And you was in there trying to create peeves and problems for her. The least you could do was do these dishes. The least you could do was mop a little floor.
No, but if that's her expectation, she needs to communicate that. So that's my problem is, if you expect that for you to make the bacon and him do the household chores, you need to communicate that. And also, if you go be a doctor, just hire a maid. And also, she don't wash the outside of glasses. She don't want to do nothing. She don't clean
Honestly,
she really don't clean.
This is
really don't
why
clean.
you cannot eat and drink over everybody's house, and that's all I have to say about that. They can sing songs, they can't feed me, and I do not want any beverage.
Bennett cleans like a black grandma on a Saturday morning, and
got the gospel music in the background and everything.
Like every other white people I know.
So,
like a bachelor who lives alone, giving me very much bread.
So let me piggyback on something Sabrina said. Sabrina said that Amelia doesn't clean the outside of glasses, and that brings me to my point that Bennett is perfect, because that was what Bennett had to say about Amelia, is she had not a word to say about him. And then he brought up some of the stuff that he does that he knows is annoying, and she was like, nah, that's okay. So,
which I also feel like it's gonna be a problem.
That's because she hasn't had to hear it for too long yet. That little sound he was making on the show, it wasn't annoying to me. However, you make that sound every day that I know you, and I stay with you every day that I know me, I'm going to want to wring your neck at some point. Like, this sound has got to stop. You have got to figure something else out that works, because this sound is not it.
Yeah, gotta say, about the washing glasses thing. My sister brought up a point about washing glasses. It just seems like the same category of people who don't wash the outside of the glasses don't wash their legs in the shower, and that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Bruh, no,
And don't
actually,
season tickets
how do y'all not wash your legs in the shower?
or
You'll see.
laundry.
But also, no. Another thing is when he said, "Oh, sometimes I forget to put on deodorant." She goes, "Me too."
Well, the thing is
Like,
that she said that it's not like she didn't have anything. It's that she didn't want to fret over the small things and make it blow up to something bigger when it's really not that big of a deal. Like, because you could just take one thing the wrong way and that can make a whole argument when it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. So I think that's what she was trying to avoid. And Bennett was like, no, 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 say something. I mean, it's like, no, I'm not doing that.
I feel like
yeah, I think
at that point she should have just like, "Yep, I don't like when you do this. All right, cool. I say something, then we move on."
Bennett sounded real insecure. Bennett was like, "So there's nothing wrong with me? So like you're just okay with everything I do?"
But then
I think he was more of he didn't want to hurt her feelings, so he's trying to be like, say something about me too, so I can say something about you not washing the outside of these dishes. Please say something. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but please say something.
He said, "I want this to be a mutual sharing of pet peeves here. We both find each other annoying sometimes, right?" And she was like, "Not really." And he was like, "Right?"
But then there's also the thing when you think about how he cleaned it up at the end. He was saying that, past relationships he's had fail because he put the other person on a pedestal and acted like they could do no wrong. And so I feel like he was just trying to make sure that this relationship didn't go down that same path because the other person was doing what he did that failed his last few relationships. Samuel's shaking his head. What you got for me, big
That means he's insecure. He thinks he's not that perfect.
But
That means
anyway,
he thinks there's a problem. And I go on to say he wasn't the bigger person because he said that in a confessional. He did not tell that to her. That is something he told the cameras and you at home.
and my thing is also, technically, it don't matter if she put him on a pedestal. He can't do no wrong to her. Right now in a million eyes, Bennett can't do no wrong. So
Can
I
we
think
move
it
on?
is what it is.
Can we move on?
Wait, but wait. Can we talk about the serenading? Because that was cute.
No.
Wow. It was cute. I mean, the outfits, I don't know what they was wearing, but the song.
Their friend group
No.
and them are the weirdest group of people I've ever met or seen in a real reaction. I was like, she's wearing she looks like a Digimon. And this other girl looks like she's wearing a circus mask, but at a Halloween time in the middle of April. I'm just like, what is going on? And they're singing these songs that are lighthearted and cheery and do low key make you feel good, but they really can't sing at all.
A Digimon. For real, damn Digimon. I was thinking y'all look very Lord of the Rings-esque. Y'all look like y'all go LARP and play Dungeons and Dragons. Which, no shade, if that's what you into, that's what you into. But you do look you give me very much like Comic-Con.
Yeah,
you know what makes me crack up about them though? They be weird as all outdoors, but still very particular about their weirdness. She came in like, wait, watch the horns. You be like, she was like,
She's like, hold up. That hug is fine, but you better not mess up my no.
Stefan really wanted to talk about this next couple, so I'm gonna let him introduce who it is.
I just wanted to bridge the two couples by asking about the little game they played.
When Bennett and Amelia played bocce ball with Karen and Miles, he really wanted to talk about the bocce ball game. So
I hate Karen.
Miles was trying to do anything for a kiss. This boy was trying so hard in this game just to get a little kiss because this woman don't love him.
I hate Karen. As much as y'all hate Brett, I'm anti-Karen. And I've been anti-Karen since the start, and I'm anti-Karen because she needs to stop playing these little games. She's too old and too grown to be playing these little games, and she's getting on my nerves. And every week I see her, I want to forgive her because who that woman is fine. And every time she shows a little bit of affection, I want to forgive her because who that woman is fine. But she's the worst, and she's manipulative, and I don't like it because Miles is going to sit there and waste his time with someone who's not ready for him.
Samuel, I have a question for you as a black man, a young black man, not that young, but for
We're
you.
the same age. Me and Miles are the same age.
Okay, so that's my point. Okay, how would you feel if somebody said that you sitting there and they said I felt unsafe?
First of all, it's a joke. It's a joke. Because if you don't feel safe about me writing something like that, just as a joke, or even if I was serious, like if you don't think that's not a negotiable thing, like if we get to that moment, it's not gonna be like, well, I really don't want to do this. Like, oh, okay, well, I mean, hey, it is what it is. I'm not gonna make you do nothing. I don't want to hear that because I know I'm not that type of person, and I'm not that type of person. I don't know what's going on with you and what's the issue, but you need to figure it out because you saying that made me feel unsafe. How? Because that means anything I do, any my presence should make you feel unsafe. If my future action of something that I have planned makes you unsafe and you think that you can't do something in between that moment to make yourself feel safe or to stop me from doing whatever's going to make you feel unsafe, then you should feel unsafe on me every second of every day. And if you don't, then that doesn't make you unfeel safe. You have a problem, and I need to figure out what the problem is.
I feel like she finally
Go ahead,
I feel like she finally found her thing to pick out about him. And I'm not saying she didn't feel how she feel, but if she did feel that way, then she blew it out of proportion because she was looking for something to not like to be like, oh yes, I was right the whole time. He was hiding something. He wasn't as good as he has. Like I think that she finally found her thing.
I just wanted to say, I said this on Twitter. I'm gonna say it again live. Karen wants Miles to do more emotional work than she's willing to do. And that's irritating for me.
No, she doesn't want emotional work either because emotional means that you're weak and you're soft. I don't know what she wants. She don't know what she wants. That's why she irritates me.
Yeah,
So
the problem I had with Karen was like, oh, I don't know how we're gonna move past this. And then the very same day they went to go get massages. Like, how do you go from I don't know how we're gonna get past this? Oh, let's go take a full body massage. Like that does not make sense to me. Like I was like, Karen's trying, but like she's kind of bipolar at the same time. So like I don't know. Like I don't know.
Wait. Let me address what Shadai just said real quick. First of all, one thing I did think about when they was in that little like hot yoga, whatever they was doing, I was like, Karen don't even look like she tried to enjoy this.
Bruh, I was like, Karen, it does not feel that good. It does not feel that good.
She don't look like she want to like be like touching on him, rubbing on him, massaging it. She don't look like she wants to be a part of this experience. It's just like I'm through with it. I'm not gonna call it bipolar because again, I don't have the credentials to diagnose nobody or to like. I'm not trying to put no mental illnesses or nothing on nobody. But I will say that she is very wishy-washy and very flip-floppy.
She a mad gaslighter too, because there was nothing in the moment that Miles could do but take it. Because if somebody's sitting there and you as a grown adult male, and he has to realize him being educated that he's on national TV, somebody says that you make them feel unsafe, there's nothing you can say. If he go back and start arguing back and forth with her, then it's not going to move the conversation forward. So he just forced to sit there and apologize for something that was not his intent. And also, you acting like y'all don't have a whole nother spare room. And I think at the barbershop where he was like, if he would have did the same thing, there would be no reconciling this marriage. If he up and just disappeared, didn't come home, she would have threw the whole marriage away.
So you was cheating out there with them old skanks, and I don't know what you thought who I was, but I ain't them, and then I don't care how mad you gonna be, you need to bring your man home, and blah blah blah. And I just can't stand Karen. with her fine self.
It's like even in the barbershop when they were talking about, he was like, I think I told her I love her. She would out the door, swoop.
Yeah, he
Pass.
said like, oh, if I told Karen I love her, she'd be like, oh, that's sweet. Oh, thank you. You know, that's so kind of you.
She did all that.
Henry don't
All
like
right.
Christina. Whatchamacallit don't like Miles. They need to throw the whole thing away. Can we wrap this up to 30-minute show? It's too much. I was so bored and so irritated, and she sucks the life out of every. She always say she have fun, and I don't ever see it on her face. Do anybody see it on her face? Because I don't ever see it.
Nope, not a single time. Never in my life.
No fun was had.
Nope.
She doesn't have facial expressions. Like I just don't. She always has the same. It goes up, sometimes it kind of goes here, but the face, like nothing in the eyes ever changes. Like
I felt for Miles. I really did. When he was in the bar.
I felt so bad for him.
When he was in the barbershop with Woody, I felt for Miles because Woody was all like, yeah, bro, I'm like super in love. I really think like I found my forever thing. Like, you know what I mean, right, bro? And then I'm like, Woody, he in fact does not know what you mean. Not just like
He has no idea.
Miles.
You're speaking a different language. He's not even on the same plane.
no, the whole
what he really like, you feel me, bro? You feel me?
Hey,
and Miles said like,
hey.
I really don't feel you, but continue, sir.
All right. Let's get to wrapping it up. I'm gonna give my final thoughts on
Wait,
Miles.
no.
Wait, hold up. She's not
No,
that.
she's not wrapping
Sabrina been
nothing
trying to
up
wrap
yet.
it up for the last 15 minutes.
Look, you wrapping up too fast because I gotta say that if that's really their barber that they always go to, I know he was very upset. He wasn't allowed to be on the conversation because any other barber, that's a barbershop conversation. My wife not giving me none, and he had to stay quiet that whole haircut and not participate. That barber was
haircut. Two. They both got their haircut.
I guarantee you they had a little conversation with the cameras off.
Hold up,
Yes.
Jai had something to say.
Yes.
Jai, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say that kind of reminded me of the situation with Henry and Amani. When Amani was like, "Oh, y'all look way more comfortable," and then Amani pulled Henry off the side, and he was like, hold up, let me tell you the real tea. Like, she is not the one. She ain't it. This relationship ain't it. I don't want to be here.
I was so happy for them.
Hold up, wait a minute.
We do look happy, but
Amani was so happy for them, and she said, "Oh, my bad." I
should not have said that.
That is hilarious. All I have to say.
She was like, "I'm so glad you guys are doing better." No, incorrect, wrong.
All right. So, I just want to say that I can't believe it's week 4 and they're just now figuring out each other's favorite color. But Stefan did have some thoughts on Karen and Miles.
Okay, so I want to backtrack when Karen didn't come home, and I want to ask if you guys thought it was childish or like wrong. And me personally, I think it was, but I think it was also a way for her to like cool down.
She did not have to cool down the whole night. I'm sorry.
I thought we might have already addressed that, but in case we haven't, I agree. Yes, it's childish. And like, if we're being real, yes, it's childish. But I can understand it. I mean, I'm that kind of person. Like, if I'm mad, I'm the type of person like, I'll be out the door. I'll be back in like a half hour or whatever.
But she was gone the whole night.
You'll be back. She didn't come back.
But I do think that, yes, she needs to learn how to communicate. Listen, I'm really frustrated right now, and I can't look at you right now. I need to go sort out my feelings, and when I am ready to have a healthy discussion, I will return. But she does not have the emotional awareness, the emotional intelligence, or what have you, to do those things.
Can I have one last comment? Because I'm going to just say this about the whole, it just made me super upset just with everything that's going on in the world, and for her to take all that time and then she came back. She may have felt uncomfortable and she may have felt disrespected, but for her to use the terminology unsafe really bothered me. Especially when talking about like a young black man. Like, do you think he was going to do something to you? It just, the connotation didn't sit right with me, and it made me really dislike her as a person because she talks so slow. So I'm like, you couldn't think of no other words. Like, you had all that time, you had a day and a half to get your thoughts together, and also you made it so that he couldn't feel comfortable.
You talk so slow.
He didn't even feel comfortable calling her, to check.
Just feel unsafe.
But you know what I tweeted out? I said, Miles fixed her car. She drove right off in
it. She said, you know what? I appreciate the skirt.
Yes. You know, the disrespect. The disrespect.
All right. I think it's time for voting, y'all.
Can I just say real quick? We got our first mention of the coronavirus. So I'm just saying things about to go down in this show.
I feel like we done already voted. We don't need. We already voted. We know. We gotta
make it official. We gotta bring out the Wild and Out girl to make it official.
Oh my god!
All right, Lacey, would you like to make it official for us?
I knew you was gonna say that.
She really got on camera right before you said that.
So does that mean Lacey's the Wild and Out girl?
Yes, Lacey is the Wild and Out girl. I am Nick Cannon. I already know what the answer is, but we need a Wild and Out girl to deliberate for us. Thank you.
Rude, okay? Well, the Wild and Out girl votes that Brett and Olivia are getting divorced.
Deal.
Amani and Woody are staying together.
Yes.
I still, even though Karen made me mad this episode, I still am going to give her the benefit of the doubt because Black women need more of that, and I'm just going to be on her side for that reason and that reason only.
Yep.
And they're going to stay together. They're going to stay together.
No, I'm still Team Karen and Miles. I'm with you.
Christina, I don't know about that one.
Christina and
I
Henry
am not.
Divorced.
I understand, though. I understand your positioning, Lacey, and I do think what you're doing is admirable. Somebody has to make that sacrifice. It just won't be me, love.
He said better you than me.
You notice I didn't cap for her this episode because she just did too many things that were wrong. But I'm still gonna have her.
It's back. Okay, just like Brett, you will come to my side. You will come to my side.
My thing is, I'm just gonna say it, and I'm just gonna say it. She wasted his time. She needs to move.
Okay, moving along. And lastly, Bennett and Amelia are staying together. That's it, and that's all.
Yes, yeah. I'm all 5 for 5 with Lacey. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of 10 Talk, where our conversations are on 10 and our personalities are always on 100.
Make sure you like this video, subscribe, click the notification bell to be down with the squad.
Don't be a Karen. Button. Don't be a Karen. Don't do that. Don't be a Karen.
Don't be a black Karen. Don't be a white Karen.
Don't be no kind of Karen.
Don't be a Christina.
This is an anti-Karen zone.